What's up, everybody? Pierre Quinn here, joining you for another edition of Sunday Night Live. And here on Sunday Night Live, we get you ready to better lead your week. I got my flip chart out, got some insights to share with you today, and I look forward to helping you think forward, think ahead. Now, I know for many of us, it's holiday weekend, and we don't have plans to do much on Monday. Beach, barbecue, hang out, chill, relax. But Tuesday is going to be here before you know it. And the things that I'm sharing with you on this edition of Sunday Night Live will really help you focus and hone in on the areas of your organization that need to be shifted in order for you to have a more productive week and really to finish the rest of the year strong. We're about to be in June before we know it. So, giving you the content tonight, we're going to talk about the 7 areas of training really that you need to focus on to develop your organization. And when you look at the studies, many middle management, many mid-tier leaders say that I didn't really get the training that I needed to be successful in my job. I was technically proficient in one area. I was very good at my job. And now they're putting me in a place where not only do they want me to do my job, but they want me to be able to leverage my connections, my relationships, my ability to lead other people in doing their job well. And that's a difficult shift for more people, for many people. In fact, I was working with an organization and they were really frustrated with one of their team leads because that team lead was exceptional at the technical aspect of their job. They were so good at the technical aspect of their job, but they were challenged when it came to actually leading the team to move forward. So we want to talk about the 7 areas that you really need to focus on to develop your organization, the areas in which your people need to be trained, the areas that you need to put some emphasis on in your organization. Now, before we jump to that, I want to give you some insight from Deloitte's Human Capital Trends report. Now, Deloitte is one of the major consulting firms in the world. And every so often they release this Human Capital Trends report to give us a lot of insight on all the factors impacting HR and leadership, organizational development. And for this 2019 Human Capital Trends report, they were surveying a lot of executive leaders really across the country and around the world, trying to figure out as we focus in on the human resource in our organization, as we focus in on our people, what are the things that we need to be mindful of and what are the trends that we need to pay attention to? So a couple of numbers from that report. And the first one is 81%. Now, in this Human Capital Trends report, 2019 Deloitte, 81% of the executive leaders surveyed said, 81% said that leadership was important. Leadership is a big deal. That leadership is something that their organization needs to pay attention to. 81% of the individuals that were surveyed said this was the case. But here's a daunting number. Here's a staggering number. Here's what might often be considered a frustrating number, that although 81% of the executive leaders surveyed in this report said that leadership was important, only 25% said that they were doing a good job of developing digital leaders. Only 25% of them said we are doing a good job of developing leaders that can function well in this digital landscape, in this digital world. And only 30%, the executive survey said, we only feel like 30% of the leaders in our organization can really do a good job of meeting the new challenges. The challenges that come from leading in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, a VUCA world. They said only 30%, we feel like only 30% of our team, only 30% of our leaders can really meet these challenges. If the overwhelming majority are saying that leadership is important, but when it comes down to having leaders that can navigate the world that we're supposed to lead in and to do it in in the context that's really important to the organization, we are failing severely. And that's why this conversation is so important. So I want to give you the 7 areas that you need to focus on when you think about training, upcoming training for your organization, upcoming development, upcoming workshops, upcoming seminars. I want to give you 7 areas that many organizations struggle in that you need to focus on. And as you focus on them, you will be able to watch your organization grow and develop. JP High Tech hanging out with us on Sunday Night Live. All right, so here's the first one. That's super important that we don't really focus on a lot. You don't see it a lot in the training, in the classes, and the orientation, when we put people in leadership positions and expect them to do a tremendous job. Here's the first area of training that we really need to focus on for our organization. We need to train our people on how to build, grow, and foster relationships. That's the key to success right there. Relationships. We take people through higher education. We take them through these seminars and training courses, and they get so much subject matter expertise and so much content and folders and downloadables and all of these tools and resources. But you have to be able to take that information and actually integrate it into the interactions and connections that you have with people. And most people, when they're transitioned from a technical role to a middle leadership, middle management role, there is not a lot of training on how to build relationships. And that's so key. If you want to advance your organization, as you look at your training schedule, you look at your training calendar, you look at the opportunity to infuse some of these things in your organization, make sure you got a spot on relationship building and the impact that that's going to have on your organization. Okay, so the second one that I want to give you that's really important when we're looking to move our organization ahead, and an area that we miss out on is teaching our people how to be effective communicators. Teaching our people how to be effective communicators across the organization. We get a lot of information from the top down, but are we really maximizing our ability to listen from the bottom up and across the organization? And we're not just talking about giving presentations. We're not just talking about PowerPoints. We're not just talking about handouts. We're talking about the synergy that happens once an organization, once a team is communicating at a high level. And a lot of times when we look at our training and development programs, they really double down on technical proficiency and not a lot on the communication that needs to happen and that needs to be fostered from a leadership context. Okay, so relationships, communication. This is a big one. This is a big one. You know, if you've been with us on Sunday Night Live, you know this is one of my favorites. Emotional intelligence. Woo, you know that's a big one. You know that's a big one. Why is this so big? Because we go through a formalized education, formalized training program. This is graduation season as we're recording this particular Sunday Night Live, and people are posting pictures with their caps and their gowns and their diplomas and tossing their hats and thanking their parents and everybody who sacrificed to get them to the place where they could stand there with their diploma or walk across the stage. And shout out to all the graduates who are celebrating at this time of the year. Here is a huge gap in our development of people in our education and in our programs. We take all of our people, and for the most part, we teach you how to be smart as an individual. We teach you about your grades, about your portfolio, about your projects. We teach you about your recognition, about your awards. And we take all of these people and formalized higher education who've done a very good job at individual efforts and have done a very good job at being smart by themselves. And then we bring them into organizations and put them in teams and say, now you got to play nice together. You just spent 4 years. You just spent 6 years. If you've done maybe doctoral work, you just spent 10 years focusing on how to be smart by yourself. And now I'm sticking you in an organization and I'm saying, I need you to be able to connect with someone who does not think like you, who does not have the same personality as you, who does not have the same interests as you, who does not have the same background as you. And I want you to play nicely so that we can be a great organization. If you want to maximize what your organization is able to do in the summer and on through the fall and into the winter seasons, you got to spend a little time, maybe a lot of time, talking about emotional intelligence. All right, number 4. This is a big one. This is a big one. Well, they're all big, right? They're all big. That's why they're on the Sunday Night Live docket. Number 4, executive presence. Number 4 is executive presence. And here is the Cliff Notes version of how we're explaining executive presence. Executive presence is simply the leader's ability to motivate, to challenge, and inspire their organization to greatness. Executive presence is the individual leaders. And I know we were talking about emotional intelligence and teams before, but executive presence is the individual leader's ability to motivate, challenge, and inspire their team, their organization. In other words, when you as a leader step into the room, people should know that you're about business, that you're serious, that things are going to happen, that you can be trusted, that you are going to move things forward. But we don't teach people how to leverage executive presence. We don't teach people how to motivate and inspire. We don't teach people how to get the best out of their organization and how to resolve conflict and how to present information during difficult seasons of the organization. We don't teach you that, but we expect you to operate at such a high level. So if you want to move the organization forward, especially with your senior leaders, teach them how to leverage leadership presence, teach them how to leverage executive presence. All right. We got a couple more that I want to give you tonight. Shauna K. Pottinger checking in with us. She says, she's reading a book. I'm just reading Craig Weber's book on conversational capacity, balancing candor and curiosity as a key to great communication. Absolutely. Absolutely. So a couple of more to give you before we end this Sunday Night Live. And this is really important. I know we talked about relationships, relationship building and communication, and emotional intelligence and executive presence. And I just want to tell you in the middle of this, that these 4 topics, and I know we got 3 more to go, these 4 topics comprise much of what we do at the Cardell Group in training and developing leaders. So if you got some ideas for training in your organization that you want to roll out, but you're not quite sure how to put them together, you need someone to facilitate that and coach you through it, or to lead your organization through that, go ahead and send me an email, pierre@pierrequinn.com. You see my website below, or send me a message on LinkedIn. All right. So let's get to number 5. This is important. They're all important. Number 5, and we talked about a little bit with emotional intelligence, but this is the connecting piece. Working through others. The emotional intelligence piece is about understanding when people are in the workplace, on the project, on the team, in the organization, and they're not like you. They don't move, sound, think, or come from the same background as you. That's the emotional intelligence piece, being able to read rooms that you step into. The working through others piece is, now that you understand where they come from, now that you understand something about their background or their perspective and their personality, now how do you leverage that? How do you leverage that? A lot of leaders, when they get frustrated, this is the knee-jerk reaction when they're frustrated with their team, they're frustrated with the process, they're frustrated with the organization. They say, I'll just do it myself. They say, don't worry about it. I'll just do it myself. When a leader takes the stance that I'll just do it myself, what they're saying is they either don't want to put the time into, or they have an inability to work through other people. They don't want to take the time, or they have an inability of working through other people. And when we raise people from a technical level, from a hands-on, from a frontline, frontline working operating level, when we raise them to a leadership level where they have to be in charge of making sure the project gets done and working through other people to get it done, they don't always get enough training. And how do you navigate it now where you're not on the front lines per se, but you are working through the people who are on the front lines? All right. It's very important. Shauna Kay that talks about securing trust by allowing everyone to feel like it's okay to disagree with you. That's right. As a leader, they're going to be there. You should invite some pushback and some questioning as you're moving forward in your organization, because you're going to need that buy-in. And also, you don't see every part of the organization and all of the pitfalls. And if you got a great team around you, they're going to be able to point out some things that you might not be paying attention to, and you're gonna have to foster, engender their trust, and let them know that it's okay to disagree with you. All right, two more. Man, the silo effect is real in organizations. So do y'all know the pressure of writing while y'all are looking? Cross-functional teams. Cross-functional teams. We have so much of a silo effect in our organizations where the marketing people only know what's going on in the marketing world, and the sales people only know what's going on in the sales world, and the HR people only know what's going on in HR, and the operations only know what's going on in operations. In order for you to get the best out of your organization, you need to set up opportunities for people to work on cross-functional teams, and then be able to foster cross-functional team conflict resolution and problem solving. Allow people to step into and see the organization from different perspectives, because it can't just be the marketing efforts that's driving, or the sales efforts that's driving, or the HR needs that are driving, or the finance needs that are driving the organization. The leaders, especially as you go through the higher levels of the organization, need to be able to take a look at the organization from different perspectives to see where other people in the organization are coming from and how you might be better able to support them. But we don't have a lot of conversation about that. We don't have a lot of conversation about developing cross-functional teams and cross-functional team problem solving. And the more we're able to see the organization from different people's perspectives, including their core function or their core operation, the stronger the team that we will be able to have, and the better we'll be able to move forward. All right, so I got one more for you. Now, we've talked about Deloitte's human capital trends, and in their report, 81% of the respondents said that leadership is important. 25% of them said we're comfortable with the digital leaders. We're putting out digital leaders who can lead in this digital landscape. And only 30% of them said we actually have leaders that can meet the challenges, the shifting challenges of the day. We talked about relationships, relationship building, communication, emotional intelligence, executive presence, working through others, cross-functional teams, and cross-functional problem solving. Here's number 7 that I want to give you in this Sunday Night Live, this 7th piece of the 7th area for training in your organization, for developing your organization. Area number 7 is you need a contextual training plan. What does it mean to specifically develop leaders in your organization? If you want to move your organization forward, and I know we take some things off the shelf, right? We take some things off the shelf. We take the biggest and baddest, or the most popular, the New York Times best-selling or the Amazon best-selling leadership book, the best article, the best YouTube video, the thing that has the most views. And we just take many of those core, basic, overarching principles, and we seek to inject them in our organization. But if you want to move your organization forward, if you want to move your leaders forward, you need a contextual training plan. They need to know not just general overall principles about relationship building, communication, emotional intelligence, executive presence, working through people in cross-functional teams. They need to know for our particular organization, for our particular industry, for our locale, for the culture that we're looking to develop, this is what it's like to develop and be trained in our organization and move across our organization. It needs to be clearly delineated what development in our unique organization looks like. And as you move people through that unique contextual leadership development plan, you will see your organization grow. All right, that's all I got for this Sunday Night Live episode. We've been talking about the 7 areas for organizational training, 7 areas for organizational development. We all know training and development is important. So many leaders across the board say it's important, but not a lot of leaders and organizations put the time and effort in to do it. And I get it. You're time strapped, or sometimes as a leader, you don't even feel comfortable with leading some of these trainings and having some of these conversations. And that's where we can partner. Pierre Quinn here, and I help organizations and the leaders that serve their organizations. I help you assess your strengths. I teach you how to build stronger organizational cultures, and I teach you how to foster the relationships that lead to personal and professional transformation. And I also train organizations on the 7 areas that I outlined tonight in Sunday Night Live. So as you get started, I know Monday, a lot of you Monday, you're taking Monday off, but as you think about Tuesday and the weeks ahead, take some time, have some conversations with your leaders, have some conversations at all levels, have some conversations in the C-suite and say, hey, where are the areas in which our organization really needs some training and development? And how do we go about infusing that training and development into our organization? And who can we partner with? And as you have that conversation, hop over to pierrequinn.com and let's get connected so that as the year continues to go along and as certain challenges arise and things are going to pop up that you not even prepared for, but you can begin to develop people now so they can better meet the uncertainties ahead. Hey, that's all I got for this Sunday Night Live. See y'all next time. Hey, do me a favor. I know you know a leader that can benefit from the conversation that we had tonight. Go ahead and share it with them, and all the best as you start your week.